Welcome back to Learn Fast with RK. In this session, let us learn about how we can perform the string handling using the C. A string is defined as a sequence of the characters that ends with a \0 or a null character. In other words, it is an array of the characters. Let me explain you where we will use these strings. Suppose if any of the projects are having the data of type names, hall ticket numbers, state names, mandal names, village names, brand names, comments, feedback, exam analysis, movie names, etc. The string handling functions in C language. How we can declare a string? The syntax of the declaration of a string is similar like declaring a one-dimensional array. The syntax is given like data type as char and string name size. Suppose we want to read the name of the students, then we will declare the string variable like char student underscore name of the size maximum 100. That means here we can store a student name of the length a maximum of 99 because the last character will be \0. And the second case, suppose if we want to read the branch name like ACE, CSC, EEE, then we will declare like the data type char, name of the variable branch, and the maximum size is 10. Why? Because we will write all these branches in the shortcut. Suppose if we want to write down these branch names in a lengthier name, then this 10 will not be sufficient. We need to extend this size to bigger integer. Always the size will be in the integer format. I want to remind you once again that every string will end with a \0. This is the differentiation factor of a normal character array with string. Initialization will have a significant role. Normally, how we initialize a variable, the variable data type space variable name equal to value. In the same way, we can initialize the strings also. We are having the 4 different formats to initialize any string variable, such as data type space variable name within the empty parenthesis equal to the string value. In this scenario, whatever the string that we are initializing, which is embedded in between the double quotes, the size of this string will be the length of this total string plus 1. So this is by default, it will consider char str of 6 equal to India automatically by the compiler. Similarly, in the second kind of the declaration, here we are allocating totally 30 character string. In that we are storing the value India, and the 6th character will be \0, which is an end character. Similarly, we can also store the character array within the parenthesis. You can write down the comma separated values in a single quote, which is a character. So suppose if we want to store India, then automatically the string length will be of 6. Why? Because the first character I, second character N, third character D, fourth character I, fifth character is A, and the 6th character is a \0. If we don't specify this \0, then the same declaration will be considered as only the character array. It is not considered as a string. Similarly, next initialization, the last initialization, char str of 30 will allocate 30 memory locations. In that 30 memory location, it will store the 6 characters. \0, here it is a null character as usual. Now let us see how to read a string and display the string. For reading the string, as a normal reading statement, we will use the scanf statement. But whereas in format specifier that we will be using here will be percentages. And then in the normal scanf statement, we need to use the address symbol in order to ampersand symbol in order to store the value at the specified address. But in the case of the string variable, we can specify the variable name directly. Why? Because this variable name itself will reflect the address of this whole bunch of the characters. Similarly, we are also having the getS function, which is available in string.h header file. The string.h header file will be having lot of pre-compiled functions that are used to handle the string values. Here we need to mention getS of the variable name. Similarly, for displaying any string, we will use the printf statement. Normally the printf statement will be having the syntax printf format specifier comma argument list. Here the format specifier is %s. Why? Because the type of the value that we are printing is a string. Similarly, we will use the puts statement for displaying the contents in the variable name. Let us see one example program. So this is my main function. Here I would like to read a name of the student and display that name of the student. In order to read the name of the student, normal variable like an integer variable will not be useful. Here we need to declare a variable student name. So the type of this variable name is a string. In order to declare any string, the syntax for the declaration is data type we need to mention as in char and the variable name student name, and here we need to specify the maximum length that you want to store for any student. I am mentioning it as in some big number 100 semicolon. Now we are able to create 100 memory locations contiguously, and these are each location can store a character value. Now for reading a string, we are having the two functions. One is a scanf or other one is an getS. Let us use scanf here. So scanf %s. So these two statements will correspond to reading of a string variable. Here I am reminding you once again, we need to mention the format specifier %s to say that the value that we are inputting is a string type of the value. Now in order to display anything, we are having a predefined function called as an printf statement. So I am mentioning the printf. So for displaying the string, we will use two functions, printf or puts. Among these, in this example, I am using the printf statement. After this, let us also try using getS and then puts statements here. So we read the value Bapatla and then the name that we enter is in Bapatla. Let us comment this part and then try to use getS for reading the. Now let us try another string handling function here, getS of student underscore name, which will read a string. Similarly, for displaying the string, we are having the puts of stu underscore name will display the string. Let us check whether it is working or not. So it is working. So I just entered the value hello and then it is displaying the name that we entered as a string. Similarly, I would like to show you a demo how we can initialize this student name. So for this demonstration purpose, I am initializing student name with some Harish. I need not to read this value. Simply I am just commenting this part, and now my program has to display the student name as Harish. Now you can see that Harish is displayed on the screen. So that's all guys for this session. In this session we discussed the introduction to strings, what is a string, how we can declare a string, how to initialize a string, how to read a string and then display the string, where we can use these strings in our projects. So I will again remind you, if the projects are having some names or some text content to handle, then the strings will help us to handle these particular scenarios. In my next session, I will explain you some of the string handling functions which will help us string handling easy. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Don't miss any update from this channel by clicking the bell button at the bottom. Thank you for listening to this session.